the first week of July this year, I was able to make over 40,000 naira designing complimentary cards with my smartphone for my fellow university students and the campus. So in this video, I'd like to share with you how it all happened, and I'd like to share with you also the mistakes that I made during that period, and how you can also avoid those mistakes. You don't really need to have laptop before you start printing out complimentary cards, flyers, posters, etc. for your clients. Before I actually get scared to tell people, especially during the COVID-19 period, when I learned some graphic design, I was actually scared to tell people that I'm actually a graphic designer, because I felt like people only want their flyers to be printed out. They don't really need the soft copy. But this year I actually took the bold step, and it really paid off. So I was able to make over 40,000 naira, and my first pay as a graphic designer. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you how it all happened, and I'll be sharing with you the mistakes that I made and how you can also avoid those mistakes. And please don't keep this video. I'd like you to watch to the end, because at the end of this video I also want to share with you how you can price as a smartphone graphic designer, or as a graphic designer designing with your laptop. So if you're interested, keep watching as we dive into the video. Number one is fear. When I started designing, I was actually scared of identifying myself as a graphic designer to my mates and to those around me. I actually designed for people, for my family members and friends, but I designed for free. I never wanted to collect money from anyone, because I was scared that I wasn't qualified enough as a graphic designer, especially for the fact that I was designing with my smartphone. But this year I actually decided to take the bold step, and I've come to realize that I don't really need a system to make real money as a smartphone graphic designer. Then number two mistake that I actually made was designing on credit. This is actually a major challenge. It was actually a major challenge to me, because at the end of the day I ended up having leftover complimentary cards without the owners coming to claim them, because I made the mistake of designing and printing out these complimentary cards before payment. So that is one mistake I would like you to avoid as a graphic designer. Don't be scared of taking your stand when you're charging. Make sure you get part payment, or even for the client to pay you completely before you go ahead to print the design, the complimentary card, the flyer, design the soft copy, show it to the client, and if he or she actually approves the design, then you make sure he or she pays you first before you go ahead to print it out. If not, you are going to make the same mistake that made by having lots of leftover complimentary cards without the owners coming to claim it. The number three mistake that I actually made during that period was the fact that I was scared that I wasn't qualified enough. So because of that, I was the one who took those complimentary cards to my clients. After printing it out, I take it to them in their various location and give it to them, and that was very frustrating. I promise you that if you try it, you are going to be so frustrated, because I had to walk around the whole university campus looking for my clients to give them their own complimentary cards. When you are in this particular location and you call your client, he is going to tell you that he's at this particular place or that other place, and you have to start trekking or paying taxi to get you there, and that is going to be under your own expenses, and you're going to exhaust a lot of your energy and strength. So that was my number three mistake that you should actually avoid. I actually went to a fellow graphic designer shop for him to actually print it out, because I actually felt he was the one that was going to print the complimentary cards himself. But at the end of the day, after giving him several jobs to do, when I design, I take it to him for him to print. I then realized that he wasn't even the one printing. He actually did was just to align the complimentary cards with his system, then he take it to the printing place and print it out for lesser amount of money, while I pay him much. Like, it's something I actually regretted doing, because assuming I went to the printing place myself, I would have made better amount of money, and that would have been much more profitable. So I advise you to actually locate the place where they do printings, print books, flyers around you, and go there yourself instead of taking it to another graphic designer to actually do that, because you're going to spend much than you are going to gain. I actually gained, but assuming I took it there, I would have gained more. So that was one of the mistakes I actually made. Number one is, don't be scared of identifying yourself as a graphic designer. Make your family and friends to be aware of the fact that you're actually a graphic designer by posting your job on your WhatsApp status, on Facebook, etc. Any way you can actually promote yourself. You can also go ahead by designing your own complimentary card, to make people know that that is what you actually do. So that is actually a good step. So don't be scared of identifying yourself. Don't be scared of charging people for what you do, because at the long run it's going to pay you really good, and you're going to be surprised that it's actually going to pay. Secondly, to design for anyone on credit. I would like to actually know your opinion on this particular point. If it is actually good for you to design on credit, and why you think it's good, let me know in the comment section. And if you also think that it's not good to design on credit, also let me know on the comment section, so that we'll be able to know each other's thoughts on this particular point. But for me, I actually think that you shouldn't design for credit, because at the end of the day you are going to get major lose. Some of those clients are not going to come back. So don't be scared of identifying yourself, and don't be scared of taking a stand that they should pay you first before you start designing for them. This actually varies. It just depends on your location. It depends on the person you're actually designing for, and it just depends on so many factors. So what you just have to do is actually assess. Just ask yourself if the person is capable of paying that amount of money that you're about to charge him or her. The location also matters. So for instance, maybe somebody is living far away from you, and he or she is asking you to design for her or him, and you are the one that is going to be delivering the flyer or whatever design you are designing for the person. You tend to increase the charges. But in a situation whereby the person just needs some soft copy, the charges also will be different. And the what you charge someone that has a small shop is going to be different from what you charge someone that is actually working in the industry, or in a bigger firm. When I started out, I actually charged based on the fact that the people I'm designing for, they were all students, and we're just doing it based on school assignments. They actually needed everyone to submit complimentary cards, so I actually took grab of the opportunity, and actually charged 500 naira for 5 complimentary cards per person. And I actually did it as a collective thing, that if 30% in a group will come to me to design for them, I was going to actually collect 500 naira per person. At the end of the day, this is actually a collective work, and actually print it together. I was actually scared from the start, identifying myself as a graphic designer, and what actually brought me to the light was actually the fact that I offered myself for free. I actually offered to design for my group for free, when I thought they only needed the soft copy, as a group work. So I offered to design both the complimentary card and the logo for the group for free, and that made people to actually realize that I am a graphic designer. But later on we got to realize that they needed a hard copy, so that every individual is supposed to submit 5 copies, of the complimentary card and the logo too. So when I actually made the offer to actually design for my fellow students for free, we all thought they only needed the soft copy. But when the hard copy issue actually came up, other graphic designer around the school were offering to design for students for 1,500 naira, while some were offering their services for 1,000 naira. And I actually started telling them, member of my group to pay 1,000 naira for me to design 5 copies for them, that is for per person. The students really complained a lot that they are not going to be able to pay 1,000 naira. So that made we graphic designers to actually cut down the charges to 500 naira. And when we did that, the patronage, like, people started coming, and it was so amazing. Like, I actually felt from the beginning that 500 naira was too small to actually charge for 5 copies of complimentary card. But at the end of the day, I got to realize that it's actually a big deal, and that is one strategy copywriters actually use. And I've got to come to realize that it actually works. By the time you do a work for multiple people for lesser amount of money, you tend to make much more money than charging a loss and end up designing for just one person or two persons. So collecting 500 naira wasn't a bad deal. It wasn't actually a big deal. So it was actually profitable. So I offered myself, and I started getting several DMs, and people referred me. When you do a good job, when you do a great, it was helpful to you, don't forget to give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't, because I am here to press your button to success. I am striving to be successful. I want to be successful. So I am here to also encourage you. I want my life to encourage you guys. I want my story to inspire you. I want us to inspire each other. So you want to join this community, you want to join this family, don't forget to subscribe and to also turn on the bell notification button, because I post about productive lifestyle, goal setting, finance, and skills to get you going. And if you have been following my videos lately, you notice that I've been posting about different apps that will help you in your business and as a writer, etc.